That's my seat.
I don't think it is, son.
Don't call me son. I'm not your son. That is seat 3A, and I always sit in 3A. So you need to get up right now.
My boarding pass says 3A. You're welcome to check with the crew.
I don't need to check anything. My dad pays for this seat every single time we fly, and you are sitting in it like you belong here, which you clearly don't.
Cody! What's going on up here?
This guy won't move. He's in my seat. Dad.
Sir, my son has been assigned to that seat for years. I'm sure there's been some kind of mix-up on your end.
There's no mix-up. My ticket has been confirmed. I'd be happy to show you.
That won't be necessary. What will be necessary is for you to find a crew member and get this sorted out before we push back. We're not going to stand here debating this.
Is everything all right up here? Can I help with something?
Yes. Actually, this man is in my seat, and he won't leave. Can you make him move?
Of course, let me just verify the seat assignments. Sir, may I see your boarding pass?
Sure thing.
And yours, sir?
We're in 3 bites and 3C.
Right. So, 3A is assigned to this gentleman. Your seats are 1 and 2 positions over.
That is literally not possible. We always get 3A and 3B. Always.
It looks like the booking was processed a little differently this time. You have the window seat on the other side, which is actually the same class of service.
I don't want the other side. I want that seat. Make him move.
Nate, is it? My son is particular about where he sits, and this is creating a very unnecessary situation. What can we do to resolve this quickly?
I understand, Mr. Hargrove, but the seat assignments are locked. I'm not able to ask another passenger to move when his ticket is valid.
Are you serious right now? Do you know how much my dad spends on this airline? You're really going to let some random guy just sit there?
Excuse me, the door hasn't even closed yet and this child has been yelling for 5 minutes. Can we please just find our seats?
Nobody was talking to you, lady.
Cody, that's enough. We'll sit in 3 bites and 3C. But I'll be speaking to customer relations about this the moment we land.
This is unbelievable. You're just going to let him win.
Nobody won anything, kid. It's just a seat.
Shut up. Nobody asked you.
Flight 2247, Atlanta to Los Angeles. A Tuesday afternoon. 212 passengers, a full first-class cabin, and a 12-year-old boy who had never once in his life been told that the world did not revolve around him. That was about to change at 30,000 feet.
Hey, you. That's my seat.
I don't think it is, son.
Don't call me son. I'm not your son. That is seat 3A, and I always sit in 3A. So you need to get up right now.
My boarding pass says 3A. You're welcome to check with the crew.
The man in seat 3A looked like he'd just come back from somewhere long and exhausting. Worn jeans, a plain dark shirt, a battered canvas backpack in the overhead. No watch, no designer logo, nothing that would make him stand out in any room. He looked like 1,000 other tired men on 1,000 other Tuesday flights. That was, of course, exactly the point.
I don't need to check anything. My dad pays for this seat every single time we fly, and you are sitting in it like you belong here, which you clearly don't.
Cody, what's going on up here?
This guy won't move. He's in my seat, Dad.
Sir, my son has been assigned to that seat. I'm sure there's been some kind of mix-up on your end.
There's no mix-up. My ticket has been confirmed. I'd be happy to show you.
Derek Hargrove was the kind of man who treated service staff like furniture and called it efficiency. He ran a private equity firm outside Atlanta, took first class on every flight over 2 hours, and had spent 12 years raising a son in the image of his worst qualities. Cody had never flown economy. Cody had never waited in a line. Cody had never, not once, heard the word no and believed it applied to him.
Is everything all right up here? Can I help with something?
Yes, actually. This man is in my seat, and he won't leave. Can you make him move?
Let me just verify the seat assignments. Sir, May I see your boarding pass?
Sure thing.
Your seats are 3B and 3C, Mr. Hargrove. 3A is assigned to this gentleman.
That is literally not possible. We always get 3A and 3B. Always.
The booking was processed a little differently this time. You have the window seat on the other side, which is the same class of service.
I don't want the other side. I want that seat. Make him move.
The flight attendant, Nate, was 29 years old and had been working this route for 3 years. He had handled angry passengers before. He had de-escalated difficult situations with grace. But there was something particular about a parent who watched their child treat a stranger like garbage and said nothing. Something that made the muscles in Nate's jaw go tight and stay there.
Nate? My son is particular about where he sits. What can we do to resolve this quickly?
I'm not able to ask another passenger to move when his ticket is valid, sir.
Do you know how much my dad spends on this airline? You're really going to let some random guy just sit there?
The door hasn't even closed, and this has been going on for 5 minutes. Can we please just find our seats?
Nobody was talking to you, lady.
Priya Nair was a litigation attorney who had flown over 100,000 miles the previous year alone. She had a deposition in Los Angeles in 14 hours and zero patience for what she was watching. She had also, 3 years earlier, attended a mandatory airport security briefing for corporate travelers. It was a detail that would come back to her about 40 minutes into the flight.
Cody, we'll sit in 3 bites and 3C. I'll be speaking to customer relations the moment we land.
You're just going to let him win.
Nobody won anything, kid. It's just a seat.
Shut up. Nobody asked you.
Owen Callahan said nothing to that. He opened the book he'd been holding, found his page, and began to read. He did not look up. He did not clench his jaw or exhale slowly, or do any of the things a person does when they're suppressing a reaction. He simply returned to his book as if the previous 5 minutes had not happened. That calm, that complete unbothered stillness, made Cody Hargrove absolutely furious. And the worst part? Cody couldn't figure out why. The door sealed. The plane pushed back from the gate. And for a few minutes, with the engine noise rising and the city of Atlanta falling away beneath the clouds, things were almost quiet. But Cody had not finished.
Dad, look at his backpack. It looks like something from a garage sale.
I see it.
How does someone like that even afford first class? He probably used miles or something like free miles, you can tell.
He said it loud enough for Owen to hear, for Priya to hear, for the couple across the aisle, both of them now staring at their seatbacks with the particular expression of people who want desperately to be somewhere else, to hear. Owen did not react. He turned a page.
Is he actually reading? Who reads on a plane? That's what screens are for.
People read. Cody.
Old people and losers read. Which one is he?
Nate had come back through the cabin twice by this point. Both times he'd paused near row 3. Both times Derek Hargrove had looked up with the particular expression of a man who knew exactly what the flight attendant wanted him to say and had decided not to say it. Nate moved on. He had to. But his hands, behind the service cart, had balled into fists.
Can I get you anything to drink, sir?
Water's fine, thank you.
I want a Sprite. Full can, not a cup, and extra ice. And don't take forever about it.
Of course.
That calm expression on Owen's face, the one that never shifted, never cracked, never rose to meet the bait Cody kept throwing out. It was about to make complete and total sense. But nobody on that plane knew that yet. Nate returned with the drinks. He served Owen first, water, no ice as requested, and then reached past to set Cody's Sprite on the tray. That was when Cody moved. Not clumsily, not accidentally. He extended his elbow and knocked Nate's forearm hard to the left. The full cup of water flew across the aisle and drenched Owen Callahan from the shoulder down. Cody looked at what he'd done, and he smiled.
Whoops.
Are you serious? That was not an accident.
I don't know what you're talking about. It slipped.
I was looking directly at you.
My son said it slipped. There's no need to make accusations.
Owen Callahan stood slowly. He pulled the front of his shirt away from his chest, looked at it for a moment, and then looked at Cody. Not with anger. Not with the wild-eyed expression of someone about to escalate. He looked at the boy the way you look at a math problem that is not yet solved. Steady, patient, measuring. Then he sat back.
Why won't you just react? What is wrong with you? Do you even know who my father is?
I do not.
He's Derek Hargrove. He's been on the cover of Forbes twice. And you're sitting there in your $10 shirt acting like any of this is normal. You don't belong up here. People like you don't belong up here.
The cabin had gone still in the way that only happens when something real is about to happen. Not the performed quiet of people pretending not to listen, but genuine silence. The kind with weight. Priya had her phone out. The couple across the aisle had turned to face the scene directly, and Nate was already moving toward the front of the cabin, already reaching for the intercom handset, when Cody did the thing that could not be undone. He reached over and shoved Owen Callahan's book out of his hands. It hit the floor of the aisle with a slap that rang through the whole first-class cabin. Owen's backpack, partially unzipped in the overhead compartment above, shifted with the disturbance and fell. It hit the edge of the seat and landed in the aisle. And from the outer pocket, from a thin nylon slot that had come open on impact, a black leather credential wallet slid out onto the floor. It landed face up. The metal badge caught the cabin light and threw it back across the ceiling. Priya Nair saw it first. She had attended that security briefing 3 years ago. She had seen that exact credential, that badge, that format, that specific federal seal, once before, held by a man in plain clothes at a gate briefing on threat identification. Her hand, holding her phone, went completely still. The recording kept running.
Oh my God.
Owen Callahan looked down at the wallet on the floor. He looked at Cody. Then he bent, picked it up, and unfolded it slowly, so that everyone in the first 3 rows could see exactly what it said. Federal Air Marshal, United States Government. His photograph. His name. He held it open for 4 full seconds. Then he spoke, and his voice had not changed 1 degree from the tone he had been using since the moment Cody first opened his mouth.
Federal Air Marshal, sit down and do not stand up again until I tell you to.
It was not a request. It was not an escalation. It was the sound of a door closing. Cody Hargrove opened his mouth. Nothing came out. From the rear of the first-class cabin, Agent Delaney Torres, who had been seated in 6C since boarding, who had not reacted to a single thing Cody had done, who had been watching all of it with practiced patience, stood up and moved forward with the unhurried precision of someone who had trained for exactly this. Nate was already on the intercom. The cockpit door did not open, but through the thin wall the flight crew was informed.
Sir, I'm going to need you to take your seat. Both of you.
This is completely out of proportion. He's a child. He was acting out. He didn't know.
Sir, seat, now.
Derek Hargrove sat down. He sat down the way powerful men sit down when the ground shifts beneath them, suddenly aware that the rules they had always bent had edges they had never actually found before. Cody did not sit down so much as collapse. All the arrogance, all the certainty, all 12 years of never being told that a consequence was real. It left his face at once. What remained was a boy. Just a boy. Crying finally, in the way children cry when fear is genuine, and no amount of money makes it stop.
I didn't know. I didn't know who he was. I wouldn't have.
That's the part you need to think about. You wouldn't have done it to me, but you did it to someone. It just turned out to be the wrong someone.
The plane landed at LAX 43 minutes later. 2 federal agents were waiting at the end of the jetway. Not airport security, not local police, but federal agents, suits, credentials, the particular stillness of people who have been briefed and are prepared. The Hargroves were escorted off the plane before any other passengers deplaned. Priya walked past them on the way out. She did not look at Cody. She did not look at Derek. She looked straight ahead, her phone still in her hand, the recording already uploaded.
You have a good evening, Marshal Callahan.
Safe travels.
The video was on social media within 90 minutes. By morning, it had been viewed 4 million times. By afternoon, a journalist had identified Derek Hargrove. By the following week, the CEO of a manufacturing company in Seattle, who had been 3 days from signing a $70 million merger agreement with Hargrove's firm, sent a single message to his legal team. Pull the deal. Cody Hargrove spent 4 hours in a federal holding room at LAX while his father made calls that did not go the way Derek expected. The attorneys arrived eventually. The situation was, in the end, resolved without criminal charges. Cody was 12, and Owen Callahan, to no one's surprise, did not push for prosecution. What he did recommend was a community service requirement and a mandatory behavioral intervention program. Cody spent the following summer in a program designed for at-risk youth. Not wealthy children having a rough patch, but genuinely at-risk kids, from places Cody had never seen, with problems he had never imagined. It was, by all accounts, the most educational experience of his life. Owen Callahan drove a rental car to a suburb of Los Angeles that afternoon. His daughter was playing in a regional soccer tournament. He sat in the bleachers in his damp shirt, which he had not changed because there had been no time, and watched her score 2 goals. She did not know about any of it until weeks later, when he told her over dinner. She asked him why he had stayed so calm the whole time. He thought about it for a moment.
Because getting angry at a kid who's never been taught better isn't justice. Letting the situation teach him something, that's justice.
Some people travel through this world as though every seat on the plane belongs to them by right. As though the space other people occupy is simply space that hasn't been claimed yet. Owen Callahan spent 30 years making sure that everyone on every flight he worked arrived safely. He never asked for recognition. He never needed it. But on a Tuesday afternoon on a flight from Atlanta to Los Angeles at 30,000 feet, a 12-year-old boy learned something that all the private schools and all the first-class tickets and all the Forbes covers in the world had somehow failed to teach him. That the world does not reward cruelty, that calm is not weakness, and that the man you least expect, the one in the old jeans, the worn backpack, the $10 shirt, just might be the one holding the authority to change your life. Stay with us, because the next story is even harder to believe.